We are in week 8 of the high school football season, and conference champions will be crowned tonight. Lots of big matchups, including our game of the week between Holland Christian and Northview. Our Blitz crew joins us live with a preview of tonight's action.
Thank you. This is going to be a huge night. A lot of conference titles will be determined tonight, at least for a share. But here at Northview, a conference title could possibly be given to the Wildcats. It would be the first time since 1970 that they could clinch a title. A huge moment for this team. It's something that they have been really working for these last couple of years. They're going up against Holland Christian, a very competitive program. Brett, what are your initial thoughts about this game?
Well, first of all, look at the atmosphere around here.
Yeah.
I mean, you haven't seen a game like this in Northview history in a long time. And again, if they win tonight, you go back to 1970, the last time they started 8-0. 1977, 7-0. And I love it. It's their blackout game annually for pediatric cancer to raise money and fight that cause. What a great cause. But to see all the people here from Northview, they were tailgating. We came in at like 4:30, 5 o'clock.
They were already here.
It was unbelievable. So first we start with that, but then they can outright clinch the OK Black Division crown with a victory tonight. You know that's on their minds after they shut down a very good Catholic Central offense. I mean, 3 points is all they gave up in that win last week, 12-3. But a different story tonight. Holland Christian throws the ball all over the lot, as you know. You saw him against Catholic Central a couple weeks ago. And they've got a very good quarterback in Aberger that will throw it 300-400 yards. It might take 400 yards. He threw for 300 last week in that crazy win over Middleville, Thornapple Kellogg.
Yeah, absolutely, Brett. And I think we're going to see, again, a very different game than what we saw last week from Northview, with one touchdown only being scored in that game. I think we're going to see a lot of touchdowns here tonight. Both coaches also earlier this week talking about how much physicality it's going to take to not only play in this game, but ultimately come out as the winner.
They're very excited. I think they're locked in, ready to play. These guys, they just take a business-like approach to everything that they do, and I'm super proud of them for that. And they know it's going to be a physical football game. We know that we have to match their intensity, which means we just have to try to be more physical than them, and that's generally what the mindset that we've taken. And if we can do that, I think we can be pretty successful.
We're going to have to play perfect. We're going to have to play perfect football. And by perfect, I don't mean flawless. The ball's going to hit the ground. There's going to be things that happen. But we've got to get the stops that we need to get. We've got to get scores. We cannot punt the ball 10 yards on either side of the 50. We've got to be able to pick up first downs. We've got to be able to convert in the red zone. And we're going to have to really make them uncomfortable in some spots.
Our Blitz battle tonight, another really incredible matchup. Muskegon and Byron Center facing off in the OK Green. Both teams 3-1 right now. We have an interesting situation, kind of a two-way tie at least right now. Mona Shore sitting in first of the green. I think we're going to see, again, a lot of touchdowns being scored in that game. But we talked about it at 5 o'clock. Muskegon kind of has their backs up against the wall a bit in this game tonight. It's really kind of a win-or-go-home situation as far as what we're looking at as far as the playoff situation. Walk us through what that looks like, Brett.
Talked to Shane Fairfield in our radio show this week, and he said basically the playoffs start this week. And he was excited to take his team over to Byron Center. He knows it's going to be a hostile environment, Waddell Field. I think one of the biggest games they've hosted in Byron Center football history there. And when you look at it, Byron Center playing for at least a piece if they can get some help. Obviously, Mona Shores has to drop, but they had that 2-point loss at Mona Shores early in the season for the Bulldogs. And for Muskegon, you win here, and then you got Cincinnati Moeller in week 9. They did not have a game in week 3, so only 8 games to base their playoff points on. So, yeah, I mean, if they lose here, it's desperation time. I don't know if they get in for Shane Fairfield and Muskegon.
It's definitely a questionable situation there. Switching out over to the OK Red, we have a really incredible matchup there as well. East Kentwood going up against Jenison. Kind of, if you look historically, this was a matchup we used to see a long time ago. And 2 new head coaches that have a history of winning, but also 2 really incredible running backs on those programs.
Yeah, 2 more state championship coaches coming into the OK Red. And Josh Lucas for Jenison in his first year, and Ty Spencer for East Kentwood. And I love what they're doing here. They've got multiple weapons, but it goes back to old school, good running backs in that running game developing. Who's going to have the big plays tonight? Brody Skedeman's been fantastic for them. Of course, he was big in the Rockford game, big in a lot of their victories for Jenison, but they're behind the 8 ball a little bit. They've only got 3 wins. This will get them to 4 wins. They got Grand Haven to end out in week 9 in the OK Red. For Kentwood, they got Rockford looming in week 9. They have 4 wins, though, and Elijah Jones has been big for them in big games, like their victory early in the year over Caledonia. So this is going to be exciting. This is old school, and for people that have grown up like I did in the Grand Rapids Rapids area and maybe in the OK Red. This goes back to the 80s when it went through either Jenison or East Kentwood for the conference crown.
No, absolutely. I think I'm very excited to see what the final score of that one turns out to be. Game time set just coming up here in about half an hour, 7 o'clock. We will have the call, or Brett will have the call on 96.1 The Game. We will have the highlights later tonight, and of course tomorrow morning with our full Blitz show at 9 a.m. We'll hope you join us, catching all the highlights there, but we'll send it back to you guys in the studio.